I was the strongest human to walk the planet. I'm just stating facts.
He lifted a 2.5-ton car.
I'm having fun and being able to make a living doing it. When you work with the work ethic of trying to be the best, even if you don't become number one, wherever you fall, put you above all the people that didn't try.
Were you always stupidly strong?
Yeah, all my childhood pictures, me flexing. I bent 601, I deadlift 903. I bent steel with my hand.
When that steel door wouldn't open.
That was a case where you saw something real happen in wrestling.
That spot where someone picks someone up, falls over.
Yeah, they need to call that the Mark Henry spot.
You and Big Show breaking the ring.
It's a magic trick.
We've never done this in person, so I'm excited about this.
You know, you're a strikingly handsome guy in person.
You are as well.
I've been told.
It's the smile. Look at this smile. Yeah.
That reels them in, and then I say something and run them off.
But thank you. That's very kind. I'm just trying to be half as handsome as you are.
Listen, man, I'm going to tell you what. We got to just skip all the bullshit. How's the baby?
Oh, my gosh.
That shit is weakening, ain't it?
It's wild.
But it's the only time that I feel like a man can be weak.
Yeah.
It's for their kid.
And it's not weak. It's just.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It's you taught as a man.
Yeah.
Not to be whiny, not to be sensitive, not to be feeling like you can't be overly emotional.
Yeah.
You got to be strong for everybody.
Yeah.
Bro, kids throw all that shit out the window.
It's wild. The high pitched voices I'm speaking to her, like, hey, hi, honey. Like, who is this person? But I love it.
You know, my kids, my oldest is 18 and my daughter is 14. And still, like whenever we go to New York, they have all of the kids' books because they were babies when we lived in New York and in Harlem. And my daughter would be like, you remember this book? And she'd be showing me all the books. And she was like, can you still do the voices? Because each character, I would do different voices. And they would, man, we jumped right into it like it was yesterday.
Man, I love that. Was it tough being on the road that much? Being away from them?
It was for me.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be a dad. And it was fun. I had a ball. Can't nobody say they had a better time than I did because I was a big ass kid at heart myself. So.
And you still are.
Yeah, man, I'm living the life of a fool, having fun and being able to make a living doing it.
When we did that last interview over Zoom, my daughter was 11 days old.
Wow.
And today she's 10 months old. And it's just crazy. You know this, as a dad, the changes you see, especially at this age, month to month, week to week, sometimes day to day. It's wild. Like
11 days, you didn't know the difference between a smile and gas. And now,
so true.
Think about all the shit you know about her personality.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Like when I go in the morning and she's awake, like there's a genuine smile, like, it's daddy.
Again.
Oh,
you came back.
Yeah.
It's an awesome thing, man.
It's the best. I mean, speaking of kids, your son, 9 months ago when we talked, he was super strong then. Now he's even stronger now.
Yeah, man, he's doing really well. Tomorrow, he's competing in the Texas Relays. It's the biggest track meet in Texas, bigger than state. And, he qualified and he's going to compete, and I think he'll do well.
Is it shot put?
In the shot put.
Oh, yeah.
Went to state in wrestling, went to state in choir. Like his life is consumed with being the best. And when you work with the work ethic of trying to be the best, even if you don't ever become number one, which he was number 2 at state in wrestling, and he's going to do well tomorrow in throwing a shot. They won first place in choir. Like, even if you're not number one, the work that you're putting in to be number one, wherever you fall, 20th place, puts you above all the people that didn't try.
That's a
the
life
people that
lesson
didn't
right
work.
there. Yeah.
And that's who I'm hiring.
Mm.
I'm not going to hire somebody that's doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Fortune 500 companies, the margin between them making $1 billion a year and them making a few $100 million is who you hire.
Yeah.
So I tell my kids, I'm preparing y'all for the world. I'm not preparing you for the individual sport you're doing. That's just a byproduct of what you're doing on the journey.
Who installed that work ethic in you?
My mother, the hardest working person I ever met in my life. And I mean, she had like 5 jobs. Like she cleaned houses and cooked entire meals that she didn't eat and would leave, and was like famous in East Texas. I mean, it wasn't uncommon to come to my house during the evening time and there'd be like 8 people going, "Oh, I didn't know y'all was having dinner." It's like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You wanted to go play? Oh, yeah. I mean, if y'all have some left. Like she was. I used to do all her prep work, cutting vegetables and making stocks and getting stuff ready for her to make those meals and stuff. And I just appreciate all the teaching, just the learning how to prep when you're 9. You before the work start, you got to do work.
Yeah.
So when you learn that kind of mentality early enough,
yeah,
your daughter will get it because she's got you.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there in the world that don't have people like that.
Yeah. Were you always stupidly strong?
Yeah. All my childhood pictures, me flexing, posing like I was a bodybuilder or something, just because I just felt strong. And I knew when other kids my age, like we touched, it wasn't the same. It was never fair. And at 10 years old, I boxed. And because I weighed over 220 pounds, I had to fight in the upper age category.
At 10 years old?
Yeah, the 12-year-olds. And they beat the shit out of me. It was horrible. I don't know if you ever boxed before. Boxing is like playing chess. And you make the wrong move, your game is over like checkmate. Like boxing is serious. And man, I was not, 2 years older kids is not fair.
What are your best lifts? If we go through all of them here, what are your best lifts?
My actually best lifts are not on barbells. I squatted 1,006. I bent 601. I deadlifted in competition 903 raw, no equipment and no straps, just straight up. And I deadlifted 924 in training before I did that 903. Weightlifting, Olympic lifting, I snatched 182.5, which is over 400 pounds, which is a international top 10 standard. And I clean and jerk 225, which is over 500 pounds. There's only been about 3 Americans that have ever done that. Man. And strongman, the inaugural World's Strongest Man, I won. It was the heaviest competition that had ever been created. And, I went away with it. It wasn't like it was, I had a chance of losing. The only way I had a chance of losing is if I got injured or couldn't complete something, because I'm not being arrogant. I'm trying to be as humble about it as possible. I could be an asshole.
These are just facts.
I'm just stating the facts.
Yeah.
But there's not another human that lifted the Apollo wheels overhead. Of course, I did it 3 times consecutively, which I danced, played with the crowd. I could have done it 4 or 5 if I wanted to. I was trying to put the show on. That's what made me different. is I was an entertainer. I lifted the Thomas Inch, formerly known as the unliftable dumbbell, overhead. Still haven't been done yet by anybody else. I lifted the Denny Stones in England. I lifted the Africa Stone. I wanted to lift McCaskill's anchor in Halifax, Nova Scotia, but I was not allowed to do it. And the Venture Stone, out of respect for Mr. Venture, who was an African that escaped slavery in the Underground Railroad and went to Canada, became a rock mason, and lifted this stone called the Venture Stone, which bears his name. I'll send you a picture of the stone, me standing next to the stone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lift it because of his lore. He came back, became a free man, came back to America, bought all his family, and took him back to Canada.
Uh-huh.
Found his wife, found his kids. We out.
It's amazing with everything you
and
did.
Nobody's ever did a movie about that.
Well, it sounds like you should
imagine how great a movie. And in the process, this rock guy was immensely strong. The stone, there's probably about maybe 5 of the top strongmen in the world right now that could probably lift the stone now, but nobody would have been able to lift it 10 years ago. Nobody.
This episode is brought to you by our good friends at Blue Chew, and you've heard me talk about Blue Chew for a while because they've been supporting the channel for years. Does it work? Do you need it? If you've ever thought about giving it a try, now is the time because your first month is free when you use the code INSIGHT. You just have to pay $5 for shipping. And yes, that's a new code. You guys used up the other code so much that they had to change it. So the new code is INSIGHT. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. And the best part is it's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And the process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. So discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. Your first month is free. You just have to pay $5 for shipping when you go to BlueChew.com and use the new promo code INSIGHT. That's BlueChew.com. The promo code is INSIGHT. Your first month is free. You just have to pay $5 for shipping.
It's amazing with everything you did in strongman, powerlifting, the Olympics. It's wrestling that really made you a household name. You were already doing all these things, and people that were in that world.
I quit. I signed a 10-year deal in '95, and I gave up my life to become a wrestler. So I could not squander my life away knowing that I gave up being who I was. Now, you Superman. You know what? I'm not going to be Superman no more. You're still there.
Yeah.
It's still in you.
Yeah.
But I'm no more hero stuff.
You're
more lifting.
You're going to be sexual chocolate.
Tall buildings and outrunning trains. None of that. I'm become a professional wrestler. And that's what I did. I quit and went on. And I probably would have stayed in it if the Olympic Committee wouldn't fight for me. During that time, they just were not equipped to fight the International Weightlifting Federation. And I don't think they cared that much, really. Track and field, gymnastics, swimming, you know, a couple other sports, the dream team, and then they was like, the hell with everything else.
Yeah.
You know, we're just going to stick to what makes us money.
Did you know going into wrestling that you were going to be successful?
No. I had no clue that I could even do that. I'm dead serious. Like, I was a fan, and they got wind of the fact that I was a fan.
Yeah.
And my coach knew a couple of people and said, hey, man, this boy wants tickets to a show. He's a big fan. And they were like, shit, you know, he should wrestle. And he make a killing. And Vince McMahon called me one day. And I hung up on him. And
why'd you hang up on him?
I thought it was one of my friends, like just fucking around. And I'm dead serious. I was like, yeah, all right, Wes. I thought it was Wes Barnett, who was also a super fan like I was. We lived at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. Neither one of us ever missed Raw. There was no such thing as SmackDown then.
Right.
So
hung up on him.
My coach and manager called me back and was like, hey, did you hang up on Vince McMahon? He said you hung up. I said, that was him for real? And like he was like, yeah, answer the phone. Like he was pissed at me. And he called Vince. I was like, hey man, I apologize. He's like, hey, that ain't the first time I've been hung up on. So me and Vince always had a good relationship.
Was it a 10-year deal because he didn't want you going to WCW? Or was it just like?
Part of it was, we don't want to do all the work training you and getting you ready, and then you go sign with the opposition.
Yeah.
Which I'm loyal. I wouldn't have done that anyway. But nonetheless, he did say that it's going to take about 3 or 4 years for you to really understand it and get it. Then we will still have you on contract for another 5, 6 years to, you know, reap the benefit of your being able to draw money.
Yeah.
And shit, I'm more than paid for my career.
I'd say. At what point did you feel like I've got it? Like I'm starting to figure this out?
When I left Calgary with Leo Burke and Stu Hart and Brett and Owen, when I left there, I knew I was ready, wrestling-wise. It took another year in Ohio Valley, 2001, where I was like, man, I wrestle anybody, anytime. For how long? Because I went through everybody to graduate down in Ohio Valley back at that time with Rip Rogers, you had to do a Broadway match. You know the Broadway match?
No.
An hour.
Wow.
I could not do it. I went 41 minutes and almost passed out. But the fact that I knew that I could keep moving in the ring for 41 minutes. Thank you, Nick Dinsmore. My man.
Eugene.
Yeah. Underrated.
Very.
Underrated.
Mm-hmm.
One of the top guys I ever been in the ring with. Incredible worker. And good personality. We all have demons. And we all have, you know, shortcomings and little things that hold us back. And, you know, Nick had his, and he regrets mistakes that he made, and you got to leave it at that.
You have such a great eye for talent. I can't tell you the amount of people I've interviewed that tell a story that begins with, Mark Henry sent me a DM, and I didn't actually think it was Mark Henry, but Mark Henry sent me a message and said, I think you've got something. And the list is long, right? Like, I'll list off a few here, but you can continue. But it's Bianca Belair, Samantha Irvin. Who else?
Jade Cargill, Baron Corbin, Bryan Danielson, Apollo Crews, Rich Swann. Shit. It's probably another dozen.
So what is it? Is that you just constantly looking online? And
one, I want to give Black people opportunities in wrestling that would not have gotten those opportunities had somebody saw that they have all the skill set for wrestling. They just don't know that it exists for them.
Mm.
And overall, I mean, Bryan Danielson is as lily white and as you could be, but his talent was undeniable. And the WWE wanted big people. And I was like, listen, I saw a guy wrestle last night that was good. I don't give a shit what his size is. He's one of the most entertaining guys I watch. I worked with Steve Austin. And I said, this dude is like really good. And then I lied and said, yeah, he's 6'1", about 200 pounds. But I got him in the door and he did the rest. Some people just need a look.
Mm.
And he just needed a look. I didn't help him at all, really. I just opened the door.
We'll get back to the interview in just a second, but I made a little bit of money betting on King of the Ring on my bookie. So I said Gunther was going to be King of the Ring, Nia Jax Queen of the Ring. I think we all knew this, but Cody beating Logan, I put money on that. I mean, I said Becky Lynch was going to retain against Liv Morgan, but I mean, we don't really need to talk about that one. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, you can bet on WWE PLEs at MyBookie. Clash of the Castle is just a few weeks away, and the betting line's not out just yet. It'll be out like a few days before when the card is officially announced. But sign up now, use my code CVV, and you'll get a 50% bonus on your first deposit. And since I know a lot of you are also UFC fans, check out the odds they have right now for Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler at UFC 303. McGregor, the slight underdog here. WWE, UFC, boxing, baseball, basketball, you name it. You can bet on it at MyBookie and use my promo code CVV for that 50% welcome bonus when you sign up. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
what was the door you opened for Samantha Irvin? What did you see in Samantha Irvin?
Man, when I saw her on America's Got Talent, she played it, and she played the flute.
Played the flute, yeah.
She sang, and when they asked her questions, she was glib. She didn't just answer the question. You can ask me a question. I'm going to take your question, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to stop you and say, you know what, that was a good start, but this is where the tire meets the road. She has that.
Mm.
Everybody don't. And the people that have that, they can succeed in wrestling.
It's amazing. Like, without the message that you sent to Bianca Belair, we might not have Bianca Belair. She might have gone down a completely different path.
She was CrossFit.
Yeah. And a great CrossFit athlete.
Yeah. And I just, like, she got my attention because she wore a tutu and like a big Mickey Mouse bow in her hair. And you're supposed to work, you're doing the apparatus and you put that down and then you go to something else. She did a damn backflip on her way to doing another thing. I'm like, what are you doing? You're exerting energy that you don't need to. She couldn't help it.
Mm.
She's an entertainer. That's a wrestler.
She just wants, yeah.
That's what wrestlers do. You don't have to do something, but you're going to put the window dressing on it. You see little kids do it all the time. I watch little kids, and little kids get told not to be that. I mean.
So if you were the one that discovered Jade, and she's doing her thing in AEW with you, you're
before Jade went to AEW.
Oh, that's right. She had a tryout with WWE.
Before she had to try out with WWE, I'm the one that got to try out. I knew Jade when it was an idea.
Mm.
And she was a basketball player. She said that she wanted to wrestle. And I said, you're a pretty girl and everything, but wrestling is hard. I was like, no disrespect to you. Your pictures are great. And, but there's a lot of pretty girls. She said, I'm different. And that's my gimmick. I say I'm different. So when she hit me with that, I was like, you different. I said, I tell you what, won't you go and see Rip Rogers? Because Rip Rogers is the litmus test.
Mm.
The mentality of wrestling is you have to eat shit and like it. You got to take verbal abuse, browbeating, and persevere. When it gets tough, you got to be like, the hell with that, give me some more. That's wrestling mentality. I didn't think she had that in her. That's why I sent her to him. Rip called me and said, Mark, I don't know where in the hell you got this one, but I bent her over and hit her across her back as hard as you could hit a human. And she told me, that's all you got, old man? And I went, she didn't say that. He said, yes, she did. And I was like, let's go. I knew she had it.
Yeah. You've been dabbling in comedy lately. And I'm curious to know where the similarities between comedy and wrestling are, because I feel like the two worlds are similar.
They are similar because there's no smoke and mirrors. There's no crutch in comedy. Wrestling, there's no crutches.
Yeah, and if you suck, the crowd's not afraid to tell you.
They're going to tell you, come on, man. Come on, Cletus, get off the stage.
Or maybe worse, nothing.
That would be worse. That would be worse. But I would probably take my pants off. Something, I'm going to get a reaction. If I'm going out there, if I'm going down in a ball of flames, bro, it's going to be historical. It's going to be like a meteorite. Like, I'm gonna act up. And I play with people all the time. Like in my everyday life.
Yeah.
You know, I get out and I start holding court. And wrestling came to an end for me. So it was kind of traumatic. You know, you losing out.
And it didn't end on your terms. Like, you didn't have that one last match, like, let's have that match and say goodbye.
Yeah, my body said, man, fuck your plans. My back said, listen, we going to your house, right? Yeah, I guess we're going to the house. Like, my back gave out. It just never allowed me. And I could probably have the surgery. I keep putting it off because I just want to keep moving around. But eventually, I'm going to have to just go and get it fixed.
Is there another solution? Because DDP always tells these stories of like, this person was supposed to have surgery, but instead we were able to work through it.
No, those people are people that either got obese and couldn't move. You know, they're not flexible. They can't, like, I stretch. I'm flexible. I have, you know, I could probably drop 50 pounds and, you know, be in better condition. But I'm all right.
Were you more nervous for your first?
I got bulging discs. And
yeah, you'll need surgery, yeah.
Two of my discs have shrank about a ½ inch, and they're sharp on the ends. They have spurs. So they have to go and call microabrasion. They have to go and shave those off and then try to ease the nerve from being inflamed. Then once that happens, I should be fine.
Were you more nervous for your first wrestling match or your first time getting on stage to do comedy?
Oh, my first wrestling match. By far. Because I knew I was a damn fool, so I was going to be all right on stage. And I was so prepared for somebody to say something. Like, you know, people walking by. And, man, this guy, listen, I'm not into guys. But I'm comfortable with being a man enough to say, like I said in the beginning, you're a damn handsome man. Bully Ray, damn handsome man. Even though Bully is full of shit. But this guy got up in the middle of my set. I'm like, where are you going? And I looked, and he had hair down to the middle of his back. And I said, Pantene. where are you going? Yeah. I'm going to get a drink. You want me to get you a drink? No, I want you to sit your ass down so I can do my shit. And everybody's laughing because it's a moment in time that would have never happened if I wouldn't have called him Pantene. It's like, that's comedy. You got to be able to do it on the fly. And that's wrestling.
And that, I mean, your years of wrestling and all the promos that you've cut, it's probably actually it's second nature for you to have a mic and be on stage.
Yeah, to have a mic is medicine. I get to talk shit and tell stories, and I told last night, me and D-Lo just sitting in the lobby, and people were howling that was around us because you remember Taka Mitchinoku?
Of course.
So the Japanese wrestlers would come over and they wouldn't intentionally not speak English well, even though I knew some of them guys could speak English because I heard them. They understood too easily what you were saying. Taka's in the car with me and D-Lo. We're driving. It's probably 2 a.m, driving to the next town. And Taka is dead asleep in the back seat. It's like, Taka, there's no more food. McDonald's or Wendy's? He kind of woke up all groggy. Oh, either one is fine. And I was like, whoa, pull over. Like, we had to pull over, have a moment. I was like, hey, motherfucker, you outed. Yeah, either one is fine. That's what you said. That's what he said. No, I like a McDonald's. No, brother, you can't go back. You can't go back. And me and D-Lo knew. So we used to tell him, hey, we down with the kayfabe. We ain't gonna tell nobody. And we didn't. Like, we knew when he was in the car with us, he used to talk to us, and it was hilarious. And he would go back and he would tell who was good and who wasn't. Because there's a lot of racist ass people in this world. And when they think that you can't understand them, then they really let loose. And I thought it was genius. So, yeah, I know guys.
You know what meme I always see of you lately? It's the bench press competition with Ryback. And there's all these memes of like you holding the bar over his head. It's like, when my gym bro says, let's do squats on leg day or I don't know, something silly like that. Walk me through this bench press competition with Ryback. These are not real weights, right?
The weights, I think, were like 5 pound difference.
Oh.
It wasn't like they were like
you had
10 pounds.
You had 2 plates, which would have been 225.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was 190 or something.
Oh.
I mean, I don't care. I've actually done 50 reps with 225. So, I mean, it wasn't no reason. It wasn't like I was going to get a cookie or something for doing more than 50 reps. I stopped at 50 because I wanted to stop at 50 and I was breathing heavy. And that's not like my favorite thing anymore.
Breathing heavy?
Like, no, I don't want to be. I was like, turn the air down.
Yeah, I think we're good now.
I want to hang meat in my house. I don't want to be somewhere where I'm going to break out into a sweat.
So they were gimmick weights.
Yeah.
And when you're holding it over him, that actually feels like, I don't know, it feels like it makes it way harder for him. You're holding it over his throat. That's the whole part of the thing. But now he's having to push up against you.
No, I was not going to kill him. Just maim him. Just a little pain, a little suffering. It was a good piece of business. That's all it was.
You could have legitimately, I mean, if that was a legitimate contest, you would have walked away with it.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't nobody. Like, the difference between me and the strength world to wrestlers is like track and field in the Olympics and track and field in high school. It's not the same shit, man. Like, you can't compare. I remember Big Show had his list of the strongest wrestlers ever, and he put John Cena in front of me. And I said, man, what the hell wrong with you?
That was on my show.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, what's wrong with you? I was like, you know that dude ain't nowhere near as strong as me. I've been still with my hands. I was like, you seen me and Big Show, I bent the steering wheel one time in the car. We were driving from Sonny Ono's house to Chicago Airport. And my son said something crass to my wife. And I got mad and he said, what? And bent the steering wheel. Show said, Mark, get off the phone and let me drive. And straighten the damn steering wheel out.
I'm guessing this was a rental car.
Yeah.
What happens when you return the rental car?
They didn't know. I bent it back.
The feats of strength you did on WWE were incredible, like bending a frying pan, lifting a car. But how frustrated were you when that steel door wouldn't open for the cage, the steel cage?
No, it was a padlock on it. It wasn't a door. I mean, I could have jumped up and grabbed the door and just ripped the door off the hinges. They wanted me to pull the chain, break the chain. And I had committed to pulling on that chain to break that lock. Jim Ellis, I should kick you in the balls. But Ellis was busy. He had so much shit going on, he forgot to take a hacksaw and kind of saw the master lock. So master lock, Mark Henry broke your shit. He didn't score it. So he didn't weaken it enough so I could just, pop it. So when I started pulling on it, it wouldn't go. That's why it took so long. It was like, shit, I had to go back and look, but it was supposed to be like instantaneous, ping, do it and go. Like 3 or 4 minutes, maybe longer, it took for me to, I really broke it.
Yeah, and you're kicking the door like you look pissed off.
I was. And, but it was a success. We did the business. But that was a case where you saw something real happen in wrestling that probably will never happen again. And I would like to do a reenactment and challenge people to go try it. And it will humble strong people. Because what did that was Mark Henry, the strongest man in the world, lost his shit and had to do it because I was on TV. Failure was not an option. So, I mean, that people got this. That's probably the greatest feat of strength you ever see in wrestling.
Wow.
Like I could never do that again. My hands hurt for like 2 weeks.
For as strong as you physically were, I think you were so successful in wrestling because of how mentally strong you were too. How were you able to develop that over the course of your career?
I didn't want to fail. More than win, I love winning. Winning is fun. Winning make you happy. Winning make you money. Failure ends your career. Failure makes you a never was. And I couldn't do it. I can't fail. Anything I'm gonna try to do, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna study. I'm gonna practice. I go over my comedy set at least 2 or 3 times a day. Just so I can just spit it out verbatim. And I was just telling a friend of mine, like, I'm gonna start OnlyFans. Because people making money. You seen the money people making on OnlyFans?
Well, most of them are women, removing their clothes.
Yeah, but there's a niche market for the world's strongest man, for a big dude. And I think that, something that I could probably sell pretty well is the fact that there are people that like these SMR videos.
ASMR.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's nice. I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do it with ash because, Black people, if you don't put a lot of oil on, you get ashy. So mine is going to be geared to people that like ashy.
I can't tell if you're being serious
I'm
or
going to go
not.
swimming and I'm going to dry off. That's all I'm going to do.
This is a bit you're working, isn't it?
I'm just going to dry off and I'm not going to put any oil on or no lotion or nothing. I'm going to rub my skin together like this, like a cricket. Yeah, I'm going to entertain the hell out of people. They're going to buy it. I guarantee you. They're like, man, did you see how ashy Mark Henry got? Like, I mean, it looked like he was kicking flour. Like, I'm going to get ashy. And you know who my sponsor is going to be? Jergens. Oil of Olay, some shit like that. That's kind of where I'm going. I'm going to make that OnlyFans money. I'm going to be rich. People going to love it.
But the great thing about comedy is you can do this till you're 90.
Till you're 90 years old.
Until you're 100. Until you can't do it anymore.
You know, comedy saved me, actually, because I was struggling. I'm dead serious. I'm not joking now. I was clowning before. I'm just making up shit to entertain people. But, like, when I stopped wrestling, man, like, I was, like, lost. Damn. What I'm going to do? You can only teach so much. And, you know, I was doing community service stuff and all of that stuff is fulfilling, but that's for the benefit of other people. Hell, I wanted something. In comedy, I would laugh and I was like, that's it. I'm going to make people laugh.
I'm so curious, when you were doing stuff with Mae Young, were you also traveling with her at that time?
Yeah, sometimes, like whenever Moolah and the other ladies were not on the road, she rode with me. And bro, she used to tell me stories. Like, she was like, you know what, Mark? I understand who you are in the business. And I was like, what do you mean, man? And she's like, I see how you help these other kids out. And I heard people talk about you when you first started. And you know what? Fuck them people. She was tough. She said, I went through the same thing. And she told me stories about the boys, like, flashing her, you know, like, saying belittling and really horrible, horrible things to her. Not letting her dress in, like, she dressed in broom closets, janitor's rooms, stuff like that, so they wouldn't rib her. Like, somebody stole all her clothes one time and put them in a water bucket. Like, they hazed the shit out of her. And she just started kicking people in the balls and punching people in the throat. I'm dead serious. She was like, hey, if you're going to talk trash to me, at least zip your pants. Guy that looked down, kicked him in the balls, stomped the shit out of him.
Man.
She told me that. She said, you know, when I was a young woman, none of these girls in here could touch me. That's what she was confident. I love that, especially with athletes and people that's doing something like you. Confident that you're a good interview.
Yeah,
you know, man, I can hold my own against some of the best. That's the way she would. If you don't have that level of confidence, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah,
and she had it, man. She was just an amazing and tough. Tough. I watched Bully Ray powerbomb her through a table from the ring to the floor. And she was like, do not treat me like an old woman. You better lay it in. Like, you got to, next time you see Bully, ask him how the conversation he had with her, how she talked to him.
Oh, he's told me the story. It's wild.
He talked to him like a redhead stepchild. Go out there and make me look bad. That's what she said. See what happens to you. Like, oh shit, I just got threatened by Mae Young. Like, she was special, man.
Why was it so special when you were in the ring with Rey Mysterio?
I don't know. I think it's the contrast in size, ethnicities, skill set. He was a high flyer. I was the ground and pound, big monster dude. And I think it was because we both realized who we were and was willing to work for the other guy. That's basically what made the matches that we had success, because you can put anybody after me and him, they was going to have to elevate their game.
The first time that I'd ever seen that spot where someone picks someone up, falls over, stands back
The Mark
up.
Henry spot.
The Mark Henry spot.
Yeah, they need to call that shit the Mark Henry spot. Everybody did it. Brock did it after that. Man, any guy that was big with muscles did it. And it made me cry. Fucking Oprah question. I was like, Oprah, do you love your mom? I want to punch her. I love Oprah. Bianca did it at WrestleMania.
But the first time you did it was an accident, right?
It was an accident.
I didn't think asking you about the Mark Henry spot would be such a moment. Why does this make you cry?
A lot of people don't create nothing in wrestling. I bet it's a lot of guys that probably went their whole careers doing everything that's, the first thing they tell you is everything that's been done in wrestling has been done. Ain't nothing ever been done before. It's not true. To create something in wrestling makes you different. And I've been saying that shit since I was 12 years old. I'm different. It is what it is.
So how did this come together the first time? You picked up Rey Mysterio.
I can't, the first time we did it on the floor. Completely by accident at a house show. He did a springboard. Where he do what they call a West Coast pop, where he put both his legs on your shoulders and ride you to the ground. Well, when he did it, he overshot me. He sprung. I mean, maybe the ropes was too tight or something. And I was like, oh shit, I became a baseball player. And I'm fielding him. I'm backstepping. I caught him and I pulled him to me, and to protect him, I rolled backwards up to my knees, stood up, and he went, oh shit. He just kept saying it. And then I pressed him and threw him back in the ring. And then I remember when the match was over, I came in the back. All the boys was like, damn, man. Way to look out for him.
Mm. And you created something there. Like you said, that is so So rare in wrestling.
But we got to look out for each other too. That's the thing that probably makes it most special. Is it didn't happen by talent, but by protecting. So get a little emotional about it.
I love that.
If you laugh, I'm gonna kick you in the.
That brings it full circle to where we started here. It's okay for men to show emotions.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm not ashamed of it.
I love it.
Means.
No, I love it.
But it's it just proves that wrestling is more than big guys in tight clothes. It's more than high spots and finishes. It's even more than the psychology of it.
What is it?
It's the brotherhood of it. The respect for the other person's life and making sure that works out best and first before everything else.
I appreciate who you are as a person. I always love the conversations that we have, but I love how open and honest you are about everything.
I'm a lot of things, but a liar is not one of them. I'm going to tell it like it is, the way that I understood it. And there's people that's going to say, well, no, I think it was like this. If it's opinion-based, it's opinion-based. But I'm telling you from the perspective of somebody that experienced it. I'm not going to embellish or add to. What do I need to do to embellish? I was the strongest human to walk the planet. Legitimately.
Yeah. It's not just a name.
Why do you have to lie?
Yeah. And these are objective facts.
Yeah, I just told you, I'm going to just state the facts and let everybody else debate on who was best or whatever. There were people that were better in individual events than I was. I came in dead last at the World Championships in the bench. At the World Championships, the first bench press was me. The second bench press was me. The third bench press was me. I was done before everybody else even started. Ain't that crazy?
It's crazy. All right, I got one more for you before we wrap this up because I know you're on a time crunch here. You and Big Show breaking the ring. How much advance notice did they give you about this?
Excuse me.
And when you think about it, he's 500-ish pounds, you're 400 plus pounds, so that's 900
There's
plus.
over 900 pounds of humanity in the ring.
Humanity.
I think they told me that day, and when I got to the arena, and I was like, "What?" And I'm thinking we got to do it for real. So the easiest way to make a ring fold up, because I've seen rings fold up before. Underneath the rings, they're all on wires that wire them together to a central point in the middle. And I mean, it's got so much support. So all you got to do is just not put the wires on. But what if in the middle of the match, something happens? So all of that stuff is set up. It's a magic trick to letting all of that stuff happen at the moment that it's supposed to happen, not before.
Yeah.
Because then you put people in danger. And I've been in the ring where I broke the ropes legitimately. I've run and hit the ropes, snap, broke the steel ring in the corner, fly out, tore my quad. So the danger of the ring breaking is a reality. But that he and I doing it, it had been done before.
Right.
I mean, I think Show did it with Brock before.
I think that you guys were the second or third.
I would think that in history that somebody had to do it before. I would have done it with Andre if, I would have done it with King Kong Bundy, some big guys.
Yeah.
But the reason that I think it was memorable because you have two Hall of Fame guys.
Yeah.
And in an angle that lasted for like 2 years.
You broke his leg.
Well, he punched me in my teeth. He hit me and embarrassed me in front of my family. You have offended me in a Shaolin temple. You must die. No, he showed like I don't know where the fuck that came from. We just had chemistry. We wrestled in Louisville. I'm gonna send you when I get home. I'm gonna send you some pictures.
In OVW?
We wrestled in OVW at the Louisville Garden.
Wow.
And it was a big show. It was like 6,000 people there. And it was a big match because at that time, he and I were the only two WWE guys that were in Ohio Valley. They wanted us to go down there and get in shape and lose weight and all of that stuff. And we did. I got a video of Paul doing a kip up.
Wow.
Holding the rope, kipping up at 460.
There's a video of Big Show doing a moonsault.
Yeah. He was a monster.
Crazy.
Like one of the best, if not the best big man athlete of all time.
Wow.
I would put him over me. I would put him over Andre. He was a better athlete doing the stuff at 6'11" and change, almost exactly 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like shoot height.
Yeah.
He got billed at 7'1" or whatever. Like
7'4" at one point.
That dude is 7 feet tall, basically, and 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Doing moonsaults and kip ups. Drop kicks. He used to do drop kicks.
Yeah, he would do the drop kick off the top rope.
Yeah.
Or the middle rope. Yeah.
Stupid stuff. I mean, just crazy athletic.
Yeah.
And
missile drop kick.
I can't. Man, I'm trying to think. Bam Bam Bigelow was pretty athletic, pretty good.
Oh, hell yeah.
Bobo Brazil and Ernie Ladd was pretty damn good in their times. But when it comes to big guys, I mean, I don't put Taker in the same space because Taker is like 6'9", he's not 7 feet. And he wasn't 500 pounds.
Right.
I think Taker got up to 300 at one point.
I think they billed him at, was it 302? Oh my God, 299 in his recent days.
Yeah. He was
298. Yeah.
Just under 300 pounds. Great basketball player too. Was a basketball player.
Huh.
Yokozuna had limitations because of the size, but was a good athlete. If you would have saw him play basketball, you would have been like, holy shit. Like he could hoop. Yoko could hoop. Next time you interview somebody like Taker or Godfather, one of them guys, ask them.
I can't picture Yokozuna.
Rikishi, like one of the guys that was around during that time.
Yeah.
Man, we would go, whenever we had a show, we used to go to the Penn State. We would go to the Bryce Jordan Center, I think it was. And they had, down the hallway, they had extra gyms. And we would always find our way down there and be playing basketball. And Yoko would just be killing us.
I can't believe that.
I'm not playing. He could dribble with both hands. He switch. You get on one side or the other, you was done.
Could he jump?
Enough.
Wow.
Enough. Dusty Rhodes could hoop.
I've seen those videos.
I'm talking about hoop.
I've seen those videos.
Like, it's been some guy, Billy Gunn. Randy Orton couldn't hoop, but Randy was so athletic. I wanted him on my team. Just throw it near the rim. He go get it. Yank.
Billy Gunn's a freak athlete. Still. Yeah.
60. Look like
that's crazy.
Adonis.
When you shake that man's hand, you feel like he's going to break your hand off. It's wild.
He do that on purpose.
I think he does.
He does that on purpose, man. Billy, stop it. Stop.
I'm going to end this with the same question I ask everybody at the end of every interview. I did this last time too.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Back with the Oprah questions.
Oprah.
Barbara Walters questions. Gratitude is such an important part of my everyday. I wake up every day and I say out loud 3 things I'm grateful for. It sets the tone for the day, and I do it before I go to bed too. What are 3 things that you're grateful for in your life, Mark?
I'm grateful for people like you that love wrestling enough to make wrestling your life, even though you're not a wrestler. The people that are around pro wrestling that drive it and push it and promote it and love it, I'm just grateful for those people because it helps us. And
thank you. I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I trained when I was 20.
It's hard as shit.
And it's not just that it was hard. I mean, it was definitely hard, but I was going to school at the same time. And I was going to wrestling school that summer. And when it came time to go back to school that fall, I never want to half-ass anything.
Right.
So I was like, do I put my focus on wrestling school or school? And I wanted to get my degree, and I knew wrestling would always be there. And now I'm fortunate that I can put my degree to work, communication studies degree, and dip my toe into wrestling.
Right.
Yeah. So but I have the utmost respect for everything that you guys do.
I'm grateful for life too, and health. Being able to get out and see all these guys. You see wrestlers dying around us every day.
Yeah. And
one day I'm gonna get my turn, but people need to know that I was grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the opportunity to entertain them and have fun in the process. And even though I was an asshole, heel most of my career, I still love the fans. I mean, that's why I did it, because I was one.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do the right thing by my character, by who I was portraying in the ring at that moment, I would be doing them a disservice. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my family. Both of my kids loving wrestling. I'm grateful for my wife allowing me to go off 250 nights a year when I was in my prime wrestling and hold it down at home. Like, just that family dynamic is special and just always will be.
I'm grateful for you. Thank you for always making the time.
Well, hell yeah. Just make sure that check clear, brother.
Oh, yeah, big check. Yeah, big check.
Come out here. Like, oh, you didn't think this was free, did you? You didn't read the small print? When I say yeah, it's like card subject to change if pay is not right.
I must have missed that asterisk there.
Well, I'm going to take some of these cameras and shit with me on my way out. How much I can get for this?
That's a pretty expensive microphone.
Might be able to get at least $100 from it.
Thank you, sir.
Man. You're welcome, brother. It was a good time.